announcements, because I know you all love those. Welcome to this weekly Q&A here on the Unlimited YouTube channel. And because I didn't get that many questions, last I checked, I only got about 5. You guys got to get better at this, by the way. Because I only got a couple questions, figured I'd take this time to let you guys know about some major stuff coming up in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, and next couple of months. So if you have a few minutes, let me ramble on for a little bit. First things first, if you did not watch the Fastlane preview and prediction show, the link to that will be in the description box down below. This coming Tuesday, once again, Brett Litke and Walter Main will be on immediately following SmackDown Live to do a Raw SmackDown Live recap. It's the weekly recap, so go check that out on Tuesday night if you're not doing anything post SmackDown. Wednesday night, time is still to be announced, but we will have another new edition of the Unlimited Podcast where we will be reviewing Fastlane 2019 next week, probably on Wednesday. Again, still working on the details of some of this stuff, but if you go to the Unlimited Facebook page, they will be announced as the week goes along. Next week, we will be doing another episode of Unlimited Live, where we will be live reacting to and reviewing Backlash 2004. It's a personal favorite of Brett Litke's because he attended that show. It was I believe the one and only wrestling or WWE pay-per-view that was in Edmonton. And to this day, it's still the only pay-per-view that was in Edmonton. So it was a personal favorite of his, so he wanted to do it, so we're going to do it. It was a good show. Let's go back and watch it. WrestleMania week. There will be 3. The plan right now is for 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 episodes of Unlimited Live, where we will be going back into the history of WrestleMania. We will be taking a look at 1 good, 1 bad, and 1 ugly. If you're gonna guess, yes, that 1 ugly is WrestleMania 9. The 1 bad, we decided on WrestleMania 26. And the 1 good, even though I personally wanted to do WrestleMania 19, we're gonna do WrestleMania 17. Because I know that for a lot of you, a lot of you consider it the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I do not. That's my personal opinion. You all have yours. Fine with me. Don't care. So yeah, we're going to be doing that during WrestleMania week, and there's going to be some other stuff too, an Unlimited podcast where we will preview WrestleMania, and then the week following WrestleMania, we will be doing another podcast where we review WrestleMania. As far as the Q&A is concerned, over the past couple of weeks, I've been doing just general sports and wrestling Q&As. This week, we will return to the themed Q&As, and because we're in WrestleMania mode, we're in WrestleMania season, and we're officially past Fastlane. Yes, I'm recording this past Fastlane. Sorry. We will be doing a WrestleMania Q&A coming later this week. So if you have any questions pertaining to any past, present, future WrestleMania match, WrestleMania moment, greatest WrestleMania performance, anything involving WrestleMania is accepted. Don't care what it is, don't care what it's about, don't care who it's about, as long as it somehow, some way involves WrestleMania. And because I anticipate this Q&A getting a little bit more in terms of questions, I'm going to put the post up on Tuesday, maybe even early Wednesday morning, to prepare for the questions. So be on the lookout on the Unlimited Facebook page and in the Unlimited Facebook group page for that post. And then when I post that, you respond to that with your questions. That's just some of the many great things that are coming in the next couple of months on this channel. But we will add stuff as we go. Like I said, please be on the lookout on social media. I'm always on the Facebook page. I'm always looking to do something new. I'm always looking to bring other people in. So if you have any interest in doing a podcast or your own separate video, please feel free to contact me. I'm on social media. all of our social media is in the description box down below. If you have Twitter, tweet out to us. If you have Instagram, DM us. If you have a Facebook, message us or post on the wall. Doesn't matter. We'd be willing to do pretty much anything. Not too crazy, not too extreme, but like I said, we'd be willing to do collaborations. Anything different, anything new, anything fresh. So there we go. 5.5 minutes in, and I have not gotten to one Q&A question. It's time to change that. Matthew Mullins, what are your thoughts on the late King Kong Bundy's career? He's an underrated giant. I think WWE could have done more with him. Unfortunately, I don't really remember much of his career, considering I'm only 23, and majority of his career took place in the 80s. And even the 90s, so I can't really go into detail about like a favorite match or a favorite moment or whatever, but looking back at like accomplishments and stuff like that, I think the WWE could have done more with him, but at the same time, not many people remember this, but he main evented a WrestleMania. Not many people can say they main evented a WrestleMania. And King Kong Bundy, if there's one career highlight that any wrestler should be proud of having, it's the honor of main eventing a WrestleMania. And out of all of the people that could be in that spot, King Kong Bundy was in that spot. And I think that he should be proud of that. His family should be proud of that. That's awesome. So, I would say that. Let's see. Walter Main. At the end of the contract, what do you think the overall quality of the deal between the Phillies and Bryce Harper will be? I'm just going to say this, and I know this is probably the cop-out answer, but this is the best possible way I can answer it. If this doesn't lead to the Phillies going on a string of playoff runs, or a string of contention, I should say. Consecutive playoff appearances, appearances in the LCS, pennants, and even, yes, the World Series. If this doesn't lead to at least one World Series title coming back to Philly, then I think it will all be a bust. I think the contract will be a bust, no matter how good Bryce Harper does. Because clearly the Phillies' mentality right now is to win right now. And is to win within the next 5 to 7 years with all that young talent. So I will say this, if this doesn't lead to, consecutive playoff appearances, 90 plus, maybe even 100 plus win seasons, if this is all just, all talk, no action, then I think the deal will be a bust in the end. As far as Bryce Harper, in terms of his stats and, his individual performance and all that stuff, I think it will be a bust too. I just don't think he deserved that type of money. I don't think he deserved those years. But at the same time, like I said, it all depends on what the Phillies do within this 13-year window. Now, does he stay the whole 13 years? That remains to be seen. I highly doubt he does. Because even the guys like Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley, the guys that Philly fans never thought would leave, they got traded. They left. Who's to say Bryce Harper, even though he has a mammoth deal, who's to say he stays the entire 13 years? Weirder stuff has happened. I mean, for crying out loud, even Ryan Howard was a Rocky. Now, granted, he never cracked the majors, but he was a Rocky. Wasn't a Philly at that one point. So, we'll see. I think that it depends on how the team does. Because if the team doesn't do anything with him there, no matter how good he does, it's going to be a bust. That's just how I see it. Do you buy Kevin Owens as a babyface? No, not really. I don't think the fans really get him. Even watching Fastlane tonight, it was like, he kind of got a pop, but he didn't really get that babyface pop, like where the whole crowd just roars and cheers and, like is in awe of you. I didn't get that. And maybe it's just because, he was kind of just placed into the spot, rushed into the spot, and maybe that's why he's not allowed to get over organically. I think it could work if they continue this whole I'm a family man type of gimmick. But at the same time, it's the WWE. Anything's possible, and most of the time they screw it up. So, there we go. What story do you believe when it comes to the Hogan-Russo-Bischoff situation from Bash at the Beach 2000? Oh, man. I was not expecting this question. Oh, my God. Oh. Do I really need to pick a side? Is there really a right answer? Is there? And looking back at it, looking back at the events and looking back at, Russo's story and Bischoff's story and Hogan's story and whatever, would it have mattered? Would it have mattered? WCW was going down one way or another, with or without Hogan. In certain circumstances, to a certain extent, Hogan was a big reason why WCW went under. Because they still had to pay his contract, and they couldn't. So, would it have mattered? Regardless. I don't think it would have. I don't have a side. I don't have a dog in the fight. I just don't care. Sorry. Peyton Peoples, do you think there are certain guys in the wrestling industry who get treated as if they're beyond criticism? Yes. Yes. In today's wrestling, guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, as much as you may not agree with it, I think it's true. And I'll tell you why. Because when he was going to debut at WrestleMania 32, or at NXT TakeOver the night before, whatever. When he was going to debut 3 years ago, I was very excited because even though I was not familiar with his work or any of his matches, anytime that they bring a fresh, big name face into the company, I'm at least going to support it in one way or another. And the fact that they got a big name like Nakamura, who in New Japan, he was a big name, a really big name, great on them. Good on them. Gets more publicity on them. You do several different things with him. But I wasn't really familiar with his style. And I wasn't really familiar with, his matches or moments or storylines or even his gimmick. I really didn't know. So when I saw him come out at NXT TakeOver, I'm thinking to myself, here's a guy who, he looks very, very unique. He's definitely 100% incredibly different. Maybe this guy can actually be something. And then the match happened. And I know that a lot of you loved it. And I pointed this out that I just did not like the match because I was not a fan of his style. I thought that the match was very sloppy. I thought that the match just did not work for me. It just did not jive with me. And everybody took that as, oh, you hate Shinsuke. How dare you insult the great Shinsuke Nakamura? He can never have a bad match. He's going to win several world titles. He's going to go on to great things. And it's 2019, and I'm still waiting. Still waiting. I'm still waiting for that one great match on the main roster. I'm still waiting for him to win one world title. I'm still waiting for him to get off the damn pre-show. A year after he was in a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. Now he can't get off the pre-show at pay-per-views. He was on the pre-show at the Royal Rumble. He was on the pre-show tonight at Fastlane. Look at that. I was right. Even though I saw him and I thought, maybe this could work, I then thought, it's the WWE, there's no way it can work. And look at that, I was right. But he still gets praised because it's Shinsuke Nakamura. And I'm not just trying to single him out. There are many others in today's WWE, in wrestling history. There are many others. And I understand everybody has their favorites. I get that. But just because they're your favorites doesn't mean they're my favorites. We all have different opinions. And, I'm allowed to hate people that you like, and you're allowed to hate people that I like. That's how it works. Anyone else in the wrestling business? Bret Hart. And here's the thing. Great wrestler. No doubt about it. Great technician. Masterful in the ring. But he bored the brakes off me. I just never liked him. I never thought he had charisma, which he didn't. He was terrible on the microphone. Excluding that 97 run, of course. I just did not like him. And, even though you talk about this great wrestling ability and, how huge of a megastar he was, and, I hear people all the time defend him, and like, oh, Bret Hart's always the victim, or Bret Hart was a huge star here. When he was the top star of the company, that's when business was at the worst for WWE. Like, do you not understand that? I'm not trying to blame just him. I'm not trying to place blame solely on him. But he was the top guy, and the business, or specifically the WWE, struggled at that time. It's mightily struggled. To a point where, at WrestleMania 13, with one of the featured matches involving him, they didn't even sell it out. And of all places, it was the Allstate Arena in Chicago. Does that not tell you something? But again, it's Bret Hart. And you can't say anything negative about him. Because if you say anything negative about him, you're a terrible person. For the longest time, Dolph Ziggler, same thing. Oh, he's a great wrestler. I never liked him I never loved him as a wrestler. I won't say I never liked him, because I did. But I never loved him. He's not somebody that I would buy merchandise for. He's not someone that, I ever was dying to see at a show. But people on the internet and people in wrestling, wrestling fans praise him like he's the second coming of Jesus. Like, he's not. He's not. I don't understand what people like about Dolph Ziggler. What is there to like? So yeah, there are definitely many people that fans think are beyond criticism. No doubt about it. Even if you look at it from a WWE perspective. Like, look at John Cena. For the longest time, John Cena as the top guy. Anytime there's a negative, it's quickly swept under the rug. It's like, WWE is trying to tell you, like, you cannot hate John Cena, even though the people clearly hate John Cena. There are many, many people. No doubt about it. I just named 4 of them. I mean, you can look at any of, the indie darlings, I guess you can call them, that came to the WWE. I keep hearing... What's another example? I keep hearing how great Sami Zayn is, and I'm not gonna dispute that what he did I'm not gonna dispute what he did with NXT, because I actually liked that. But once he got to the main roster, I just did not get it, and I didn't like it. But again, can't criticize Sami Zayn, because if you do, it's like you're criticizing the Lord. Whatever. Yeah, there are definitely plenty of people that people or fans think are beyond criticism. Many wrestlers. No doubt about it. That's it for the questions. I can't believe I went over 20 minutes. I literally only had 5 questions. Thank you for submitting those questions. Like I said, enjoy the content that I've already given you on this channel. Enjoy the content that's coming up. Links to all of that content that I mentioned in the previous, or earlier in the video, I should say. The description box down below. Thanks, guys. See you later.